cloud. I am so excited. This is our new Tirtha podcast, conversations with women at the top. This is Maureen Costello. And Maureen and I have known each other. Thanks for that wave, Maureen. And Maureen and I have known each other now for many years. I'm not even going to say the years anymore because it's going to be a lifetime. We're growing old together and we're not old yet. We're just getting started, really. And why I wanted Maureen to really just share her story with you is, as a leader and as a woman with a vision, I think sometimes we don't realize that we are leaders or we have a vision. And I asked Maureen to come and share with us how this vision and her natural leadership has emerged from what's happened to her in her life. So Maureen, without sharing too much about you, because I want you to share about you, would you mind starting with, like, this is who I was, and then this is what happened, and then this is what I'm up to, and where we are now, so people can really experience this profound journey that you've been on?
Yeah, sure. Happy to, Joe. So I'm going to go a little bit into the Wayback Machine, because it was a very formative experience in my life. I was a collegiate athlete, a 10-time All-American swimmer. I held an NCAA record for 32 years. And, coming out of college, I was always participating in a life as an athlete as well. And what that looked like was masters swimming, playing tennis, and training for triathlons. So I kept pretty active. Swimming really did kind of trained me to be a leader. I was the captain of our swim team. It was a team sport. I find that when you're out in the world, it's not just you. You're constellated by all the people around you and the impact that you have on them and that they have on you. So, just really fortunate to come from that place. And I walked, to New York, like very confident that I was going to step into a career that was extraordinary, and I did. This is going to age me. I'm going to just say I'm 60. I just turned 60, and my mantra is I'm 60 and soft. And I'll explain a little bit more about that later. But back in the day, when I was looking for, to step into my career, I actually walked into MTV Networks. You can't do that kind of stuff anymore. And I just said, this is what I want. I want to work here. I want to make a difference for kids in developing kids television. And I got a job at Nickelodeon, working for the vice president of production as her assistant. And we were working in the very formative years of Nickelodeon to define, what would make a difference for kids in creating television for them. And again, my experience in that environment was that everyone in that environment mattered and their leadership emerged. So we all really, to my boss who took me on as her mentor, she's like, you are a great assistant, but I need to unleash you. And she trained and developed me to look from where she was looking from. And she developed me into being a producer. And my career, I'm not going to go through every single step, but I went from being a producer in television to then the internet happened. And there was no Google at that point, but I was asked from somebody to be an information architect. And I was like, what's an information architect? There was no Google to look it up, and it was something that was just burgeoning, didn't exist. And I dove into creating that with a team of people. So team is very important, and what my experience lived in life actually looks like. So that's where my, career started. I really started to learn digital. I had a lot of great experience in television, and I've married those together, and I've become a marketing brand innovation expert through those experiences. So it's just kind of continued to grow and change, and with the teams that I've worked with along the way. But something happened to me in 2012, and it was like, and I fell down the subway stairs on my knees, and um, it had such a profound impact on my life. I didn't realize how kind of, I'm gonna say, broken my body was at that point, but I ended up needing a lot of surgeries to recover and a lot of years to recover. So I've now had over 9 surgeries, and the recovery period, I'm going to say, has still been ongoing, but I've supplemented that recovery with really taking on who I am as a leader in the world and being in action. There is no point that I really was stopped, that anything, that I was thwarted in moving forward. I was just always kind of looking for, okay, what's next to take my body, my recovery into the next level while still highly performing out in the work world. And I'm going to say that's what life looked like from 2012 to 2020 when the global pandemic happened. And in the global pandemic, everyone went online, like really went online. And I noticed that I was like looking up like that, looking up like that. It was really hard for me to see. And my eye doctor had been telling me, oh, your eyelids are drooping. And I was at a point that I needed an intervention in that. So I went to an oculoplastic surgeon, and she just asked me a very pointed question and said, do you have French Canadian ancestry? And I said, yeah, I do. Why? And she said, I want to test you for something. And she tested me for oculopharyngeal muscular dystrophy, which is a genetic form of muscular dystrophy. It's very rare. And I tested positive for it. And I had surgery in 2020 for my drooping eyelids, and I was dealing with another impact of that muscular dystrophy as I was having swallowing issues, and just moved into action around those issues in 2022 and had a surgery that made a huge impact on my life. Like I was at the point that I was ringing a bell in my office with my husband on the other side because I was choking so much on things. And I am now free from that surgery. But, I think the reason why, all of this is important is I have had, valleys. I don't want to say that, well, I'm like someone super special who doesn't ever have an impact from any of these things. There's always these valleys, and then these, walking to the top of the mountain and walking back down. And I've been through it, but I've constantly been in action. I've never just sat down there, if that makes any sense. And that has just made such a big difference to how I approach life in general, and such a difference to who I am as a leader in the world.
So let's just press pause there for a moment, because there's so much. Now, if you're watching this podcast, I mean, Maureen is saying this so matter of fact, but I've been with her on that journey from the ups and the downs and the ups and the downs. And the pain that Maureen has been through is completely unimaginable for most. And your, I don't want to even call it determination. It's even stronger than determination, Maureen. but you have something in you that you are just not willing to give up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's an essence of you that no matter what is coming up, there's a space of you're just not willing to give up. Like, talk about being a leader, talking about being a champion for yourself, and talk about being now a champion for other people to see what it takes to take yourself on in the face of this incredible illness that you're now shifting and working through, which we're going to get into in a moment. So now, what advice or what could you give to a woman or man, if you're watching this, that they feel stuck or stopped in any kind of well-being crisis, to support them not to give up?
Well, I would just say the advice is don't stop. Look under every rock. Be in communication with everyone around you, because you never know what is going to show up. Just by being curious and by just reaching out to my network, that's just made the most profound difference in my life. So just with this rare disease, for instance, to give a solid example, I was in a leadership training program at the time that I was diagnosed. And, I went through the surgery, but you do need to be treated by a neurologist and all of that. And I just went out to my network and I said, who knows a preeminent muscular specialist? I need to meet with them. And I met the preeminent muscle specialist in the country through that inquiry. So I don't feel like anything is outside of, what I making requests. That's what came back to me. And I had my intake with that neurologist. That was in Boston. I don't live in Boston. I live in New York. And after all of that, he's like, I'm going to refer you to, someone who's amazing in New York. And then in that referral through New York, I got connected to an integrated team working in the muscular dystrophy space, doing research, who really could make a difference in my life. And now I'm able to take that and share that with others. I do advocacy work and I share my lived experience with others to make a difference for them, saying the same thing. It's look under every rock, be in communication, whether it's positive or negative, just be with someone. You just don't ever know who's going to offer you something, and that's going to make the biggest difference in your life.
Awesome. So now let's just, you are a Tirtha founding member. That's why I wanted you to be on this podcast, because you are such a leader. You're kind of sharing, it's obvious when you're with Maureen, she's a leader, right? And now, as women, sometimes we don't even know we're a leader until a situation presents itself that's so personal that the only option is to step up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you're like, oh, I'm not a leader, I'm waiting for a leadership role. It's like, fuck, this just happened to me. I've got to step up. And now, like, what am I going to do about this situation or this wellness issue or this business opportunity or whatever it is for you?
Mm-hmm.
So when life presents something to you, it's in that experience that as women, we discover our own leadership. Leadership's not a title.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way of being that's naturally available to all of us if we're willing to go there, not give up, look under every rock, as Maureen said, reach out to people, find out, be curious. Like there's so much there. And the other piece, Maureen, which I want you to expand on, is, when you say to people, well, what's your vision? And I know with me, and I know with you, we didn't sit there with a whiteboard and go, well, let's create our vision. Our vision got born out of the experience that we were going through that naturally became a vision or purpose for our life, because we are a leader in that vision of our own experience.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then we make that available for others to see.
Mm-hmm.
So as you stand here, having gone through that whole journey, gone through 9 surgeries, gone through the pain and healing that you're doing, what do you now see for yourself, and what is emerging next for you?
So what I see for myself is that's how my life is going to go. I'm just never going to stop to be in the pursuit and to look under the rocks and to stand firmly in my leadership and making a difference for people in the world, because there are so many people who aren't empowered, but can a little shift, someone taking them on, someone making a difference for them will actually reflect in them the leader that they are. So that's just who I am in the world. And that's what I'm taking on. So how that looks in my life is, yes, I'm a founding member of Tirtha, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know what that looks like, but I'm just going to continue to live my life the way that I live my life. And I'm going to, connect with people where it makes sense for me to connect with people, and I'm going to still stay on the journey. So inside of that, I find that a lot comes to me without me even having to ask for it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows up.
Yeah.
And, that like has been so many opportunities to participate not only in Tirtha, but in, another leadership body that you happen to be involved in as well. And then with other people who are, um, you know, uh, um, using plant medicine to heal as well, which was, I don't know that I ever thought that that would be part of my journey, but that's now is part of my journey. And I have, 4 very intentional experiences with it that took me from, maybe a place of fear that I'm going to have to live with pain all my life and it's going to stunt who I am as a leader, and the amount of time that I have to do something, to really kind of chipping away and opening up that there is more to discover. So I say yes to as much as I can say yes to open up new pathways. And, it's just been glorious, glorious. Like, I mean, I was talking to Jo prior to this discussion, and I was telling her that I am now, for the first time in a super, super, super long time. Now, it's only been a number of days, but I'm pain-free.
Amazing.
That was created through an intention. And that was to actually take the lid off who I could be as a leader and open up what's next. What could it look like without that being a blocker, without that having, a haze over my life on a daily basis. So now that's a new discovery that I'm in. I was handling it very practically. I need to sleep well. I need to eat well. I need to put boundaries around the amount of time that I spend on things day to day. I need to exercise in a certain way. And while all that is true, this is a new path to add to that, which really brings a lot of joy to my life as well. And joy is super important and has me lit up in a way that I haven't been lit up in a super long time.
Awesome. And we're going to leave it right there. So it's very evident when you're around women who love to create, this is who we are, this is the conversation. It's an ongoing creation. And it's evident, Maureen, for me, being with you, that not only are you a woman who's creating and living a vision that you're birthing for yourself, you're very much on the divine path that you're in now, because everything is in alignment for you. And for you to be pain-free is such a victory, not just for you, but for me, who's someone here with you, who's part of this journey and experience with you. So congratulations. And everyone else, if this woman doesn't inspire you, then we need to come and do surgery on you to wake you up, because she's incredible. Thank you so much, Maureen, for being on today's podcast.
Thanks for having me, Jo.
You got it.